ask Liz to call the roll.
Right. Councilmember Atlas Ingebretson. Atlas Ingebretson. Barber.
Here.
Chambliss. Chambliss. Ferguson. Ferguson. Fredson. Fredson.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Present. Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Lilligren.
Here.
Lindstrom.
Here.
Mousset. Mousset. Sterner.
Here.
Bento.
Here.
Wolf.
Here.
Zurin. Zurin. Chair Zelli.
Here. By my count, we have a quorum, so let's we can begin. We'll start by considering the agenda. If there's no objections to the amended agenda, we can move on. All right, with no objection, the agenda stands. Next order of business is approval of the minutes from the December 9th, 2020 meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Chair Zelli, this is Sterner, and I motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Councilmember Sterner. Is there a second?
Second by Lee.
Thank you, Councilmember Lee. Any discussion? Hearing none. Liz?
Atlas Ingebretson. Barber.
Aye.
Chambliss. Chambliss. Ferguson. Ferguson.
Aye.
Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Lilligren.
Aye.
Lindstrom.
Aye.
Mousset. Sterner.
Aye.
Bento.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Zurin. Chair Zelli.
Aye. The minutes are approved. Now on to the consent agenda. May I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
Vento moves approval.
Second by Gonzalez.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Councilmember Gonzalez. Any discussion? All right, Liz, please call the roll.
Barber.
Aye.
Chambliss. Ferguson.
Aye.
Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Thank you. Lee.
Aye.
Lilligren.
Aye.
Lindstrom.
Aye.
Sterner.
Aye.
Bento.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Zurin. And Chair Zelli.
Aye. That motion's carried. We're on to the standing committees. And the first report is from Community Development. Councilmember Lilligren.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And council members, it's business item 2020-326, and it's to adopt the amendment to the 2040 Regional Parks Policy Plan. And I'll just let folks know we're going to have about a 10-minute presentation from staff as part of this action. And the proposed amendment process was driven by a commitment the council made in the 2018 update to the Regional Parks Policy Plan to convene a discussion about additions to the Regional Parks and Open Space System. That work started in 2019 and focused on three main topic areas. You can see those in the summary of changes in the business item. It's proposed additions to the regional parks and trails, new policy language to strengthen equitable access to the system, and clarifications and updates to various sections of the plan, as well as the work plan component. And so at this time, Mr. Emmett Mullen, Ms. Tracy Kenny from the Community Development Divisions of Parks Unit will make a short presentation on the amendment process, provide a summary of the recommended changes to the plan, and highlight some of the insights gained from the engagement process for the amendment. So, Mr. Chair, at this point, I would ask you to recognize Mr. Mullen and Ms. Kinney.
Welcome. Do we
Good
have
afternoon.
Oh, there you are, Emmett. Welcome. Thanks.
Good
ahead.
afternoon. Chair Zelli,
We're not getting audio from you, Emmett. I don't know if that's.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. I apologize. My internet is not working well right now, so I will turn my camera off. But thank you for Mr. Chair and council members for hearing today's recommendation to accept the public comment report and adopt the 2040 Regional Parks Policy Plan. I'm Emmett Mullen again. I'm the manager of the Regional Parks Unit, and today Tracy Kinney and I are presenting the recommendation. Next slide, please. Here's our agenda for today. We'll start by briefly reviewing our learnings from the public comment process, including our pilot outreach effort. We'll also provide a high-level review of the recommendations in the policy plan amendment. And finally, we'll request your recommendation to approve the final policy plan. Next slide, please. Here's our timeline from our public comment period, all the way from inviting participants into the process, engaging them, meeting with them to discuss the process, refining our policy plan, and finally, here we are in December with the request for approval of the final plan. Next slide, please. The public comment process, so lessons learned. During the public comment process, we tried a couple new outreach strategies, and we really learned a lot from our participants. I want to recognize that the advice and encouragement we received throughout this process from our Community Development Committee members, as well as from our Metropolitan Parks and Open Space Commissioners. Just to share a couple learnings, once again, we learned that traditional engagement approaches such as a survey reach dominant culture audiences really well. That was true of our survey. Reaching new audiences really takes some time, especially working with historically underserved audiences. And finally, if these relationships with an audience is cultivated only when we need something, it's not going to be successful. The photo in this slide is of a Zumba class with the Cycle Sisters, who are a group of women from North Minneapolis who are very civically minded. And we had planned this great outdoor outreach effort at Theodore Wirth Regional Park at Eloise Butler's Wildflower Garden. And, you know, we had to call it off. And 2 days later, we figured out a way to have a really great discussion with this group, and we integrated it with the with a Zumba class, so it was fun. Next slide, please. So overall, here's our public comment summary of what we heard largely from the engagement efforts. First, we had overwhelming support for the proposed system additions, along with some concerns regarding the cost of the system additions and the ability to maintain the system, the high quality system. We did hear about the need to prioritize natural resource conservation. That was a big theme. There's significant interest in our regional trail system and the desire to create an interconnected, seamless system. And finally, there are 2 water trail proposals in the system addition recommendation, and there were a number of people that expressed support for those. That was both a water trail along the Minnehaha Creek corridor from Lake Minnetonka all the way down to St. Louis Park and even Minneapolis. And then there was also a water trail in Anoka County along the Rum River. Next slide, please. This is my last slide before I turn it over to Tracy. And we want to now transition to the significant changes in this policy plan amendment. First of all, we begin with the 26 system additions or expansions, which was the primary focus of this update. There are 4 boundary adjustments as part of this recommendation. One I'll highlight is Battle Creek Regional Park. We added the Fish Creek unit to Battle Creek, which is on the southern end of that park. Really exciting, high quality natural resources and very supportive of that Mississippi River Flyway. There are 5 search areas as part of the 26 recommendations. 3 are regional parks. 1 is a park reserve. And 1 is a special recreation features search area. And it's a bridging facility. And this is the first ever bridging facility in the regional park system proposed by Three Rivers Park District. There are 17 regional trail search corridors. And those are both, they're mostly modifications or extensions to existing regional trail search corridors, but there's also some new regional trail search corridor recommendations. Next slide. And I'm going to turn it over to Tracy Kinney to take it over from here to the end.
Thanks, Emmett. Can you hear me?
I can.
Great. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, council members. Hi, my name is Tracy Kinney. I'm a senior planner in regional parks. And as part of the systems additions process and the public comment period, there are a number of policy refinements. During the next few slides, I'll provide a high-level overview of all the changes in the policy plan. Attachment 1 in your business item includes a full list of changes by chapter of the policy plan. Attachment 2 is the strike-through version of the draft amendment, and attachment 3 is the clean copy of the amendment. And now on to the policy refinements, including boundary adjustments and bridging facilities. New policy was added to describe minor boundary adjustments, the criteria, and the process for their request. On occasion, parcels are added to park and trail master plans. Minor boundary adjustments may be considered with a concurrent master plan or acquisition master plan request. And significant boundary adjustments will still be considered through the systems additions process. On to bridging facilities. Staff worked with the agencies on adding more description and criteria for bridging facilities. Bridging facilities are a type of special recreation feature that are intended to attract and introduce new outdoor users to the regional park system. They are designed to prototype new ideas and advance equitable usage by focusing on underserved populations. Council staff agrees with MPOS members that bridging facilities should be a progressive, nature-based experience that intentionally transitions new visitors to regional parks and trails. We're excited to see this approach used in the development of master plans of that new bridging facility search area that Emmett mentioned. Next slide, please. And now on to Park and Trail Master Plan requirements. There was some clarified language for master plan requirements. Master plan boundaries for regional parks and trails must include both administrative and management boundaries with known potential inholdings. Including both boundaries is important to accurately understand the size of the park and trail and the regional park system as a whole. It also is very helpful in calculating funding and protecting the land through the comprehensive plan process. Next, the equity analysis requirement. The equity analysis requirement for master plans was approved by the Council in February 2020. It is designed to ensure that questions of who benefits and who is affected by the development of a regional park or trail is addressed in the master plan. The requirement centers equity in the master planning process. Next slide, please. And now on to the costs to complete the system and Chapter 9 work plan requirements. For the estimated cost to complete the system, state law requires that the policy plan include the cost of acquisitions and development of the regional park system. The estimated was comprehensively updated with the 2018 update. The 2020 amendment includes the proposed new regional designations and other park and trail updates. The estimated build-out of the entire system is about $2.1 billion. You might recall that the 2018 estimate was $2 billion as well. Well, the total is the same due to updated land values to reflect 2020 data. And finally, on to the work plan items in the policy plan. The work plan was updated to include two new studies, well, a couple of new studies, but two I'll highlight here is the historical cultural study and the water trail study. And these studies are going to evolve during the next 4 years leading up to the 2050 systems update. The cultural historical study will seek to describe historical and current day inequities that result in barriers to use of the regional park system. Included in the study is a land acknowledgement study to recognize the role Native American communities play or have had in our region's history and currently have today. And the water trail study. This will explore sub-classifications or a new classification to provide paddling opportunities, camping, and more. And then this wraps up the major policy refinements in this amendment. Next slide, please. So with this presentation and the staff report in mind, the recommended action before you is to accept the public comment summary report on the draft amendment to the 2040 Regional Parks Policy Plan and adopt the revised final 2040 Regional Parks Policy Plan amendment. The Metropolitan Parks and Open Space Committee engaged in a robust conversation at their December 3rd meeting that resulted in a unanimous approval for the recommended actions, and CDC, Community Development Commission, equally had a unanimous approval at their December 7th meeting. Next slide, please. Thank you. And with that, we'll stand for any questions.
And, thank you, Ms. Mullen, Ms. Kennedy, and Mr. Mullen. If there aren't any questions, Mr. Chair, I'm prepared to move the recommended action.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion.
Anybody but me having a hard time hearing the chair?
Yes, Mr. Chair, your microphone. Bring it down. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. I was not paying attention. Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
Vento seconds.
Thanks. And Tracy, Emma, thank you very much. We heard you, and it was an excellent presentation. Any more questions or discussion for them? Councilmember Wolf.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have one quick thing. We had some discussion in the Community Development Committee on Monday. It appears that there's been a sort of a de facto policy change that has already taken place in MPOS, where local park amenities, city park amenities are now being approved for wide spaces in trails or elsewhere in the system. I hope that we can at some point have a more detailed discussion about that rather than just assuming a policy change, because it has significant financial implications and geographic equity implications if we don't sort of work out whether the regional park system should be paying for local park amenities in certain parts of the system.
Sure. And any comment, Emmett, do you want to respond or just note?
Mr. Chair and council members, Councilmember Wolf has consistently brought up this issue, and I will commit today that we will bring this up for discussion in the coming 2021 year. So thank you for raising that, and I look forward to the conversations.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, if I may, I want to thank Councilmember Wolf for raising this, and it does spark some very interesting and robust discussion in committee, and for other council members who maybe haven't been involved in the discussion. This is because some of our regional parks facilities are part of, adjacent to, go through more local parks, and some of our implementing agencies are regional implementing agencies as well. So this is, I think, a great issue to have some more discussion around and maybe policy set in the coming year.
Okay, then you heard it here. We're going to stay tuned and we'll discuss this next year. Any other discussion on the motion to approve this plan? All right, hearing none. Liz, call the roll.
Barber,
Aye.
Chambliss,
Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Fredson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. That motion carried. Thank you. And again, thank you, Emmett and Tracy. Councilmember Lilligren, you're going to be busy today.
Yeah, it's been a busy committee, and I just want to really commend staff's work. We've got a lot of year-end work that we're approving today. Chair, council members, the next is business item 2020-327. It's for Parks Acquisition and Opportunity Fund Grant for the Pine Point Regional Park located in Washington County. This item will award $590,805 of Park Acquisition Opportunity Fund monies to Washington County to purchase a 49-acre property for the regional park. The Branson property is adjacent to the current park boundary, and Regional Parks Policy Plan Amendment, our business item 2020-326, to proceed to this item included the boundary adjustment that incorporates this parcel into the official park boundary, and the land will be restored and added to the existing natural resource features of Pine Point Regional Park. Mr. Chair, I move that the Met Council approve a grant of up to $590,805,000 to Washington County to acquire the 48.52 acre Branson property located at 120th Street North in Stillwater Township for the Pine Point Regional Park, contingent on council approval of the amendment to 2040 Regional Parks Policy Plan that we did. Authorize the Community Development Director to execute the grant agreement and restricted covenant on behalf of the council.
Lovely. Is there a second to the motion?
A second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gonzalez. Any discussion? All right. Liz?
Barber,
Aye.
Chambliss,
Aye.
Ferguson, Ferguson,
Aye.
Fredson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Musse,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. Motion carried. Now, more Lilligren.
Thank you, Mr.
Is anyone else hearing an echo?
Every so often.
I believe Ferguson needs to mute. He's the one that's causing the echo.
Thanks, Chris.
Councilmember Ferguson, I don't know if you heard that, but if you could mute, please. Your speaker is causing an echo.
Yeah, I think it's work. I think he's got it now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. Mr. Chair and council members, the next is business item 2020-329. It's to award $197,500 in livable communities demonstration account pre-development grant funds to two pre-development projects in two different cities. Pre-development grants are intended for applicants that are defining a project through such activities as design workshops, the development of site plans, financial analysis, market studies, project-specific stormwater management plans, or impact analyses in support of an identified future development project. Applications were received from the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Each of the projects proposes to add affordable housing, increased density, and further Livable Communities Act goals, Livable Communities account goals. Remaining funds can be allocated to future programming. Mr. Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council award two Livable Communities demonstration account pre-development grants for $197,500 as shown in Table 1, and authorize the Community Development Division Director to execute the grant agreements on behalf of the Council.
Chambliss moves to approve.
Thank you. I take that as a second. And any discussion? Great. Liz?
Barber,
Aye.
Chambliss,
Aye.
Ferguson, Ferguson, Fredson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Musse,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. That motion carried. Back to you, Councilmember Lilligren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item is 2020-330. It's to award $200,000 in Livable Communities Demonstration Account Transit-Oriented Development Pre-Development Grant Funds to support two pre-development projects in two cities. Like the previous item, this transit-oriented development pre-development grant category is intended for similar types of activities in support of an identified future development project. Applications again were received from the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Each of the projects proposes to increase density, add a diversity of land uses, including affordable housing, jobs, and public realm improvements, and to further livable LCA goals. Remaining funds can be allocated in future programming. Mr. Chair, I move that the Met Council award 2 Livable Communities Demonstration Account Transit-Oriented Development Pre-Development Grants for $200,000 as shown in Table 1, and to authorize its Community Development Division Director to execute the grant agreements on behalf of the Council.
Great, thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
Councilmember Fredson will second.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any discussion? All right, Liz?
Barber,
Aye.
Chambliss,
Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Fredson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Musse,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. That motion carries. Back to you, Councilmember Lilligren.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair and Council members. This next item is very exciting. It's a culmination of a lot of work by our staff, and I just want to acknowledge that before we move into business item 2020-345. This action is to adopt 2 resolutions to support the Metro HRA's application for 2 moving to work designation opportunities. The Metro HRA has been working to obtain a moving to work or MTW program designation from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, for several years. The Moving to Work program is a federal designation that provides local control and flexibility in how federal rent assistance programs are operated. With a Moving to Work designation, Metro HRA could seek exemptions from program rules in order to test more efficient ways to operate rent assistance, relieving administrative burden to focus on resident success. The Metro HRA has 2 potential strategies for obtaining MTW designation. The proposed board resolutions allow the Metro HRA to move forward with pursuit of 2 options for obtaining the Moving to Work designation. The first is regional Moving to Work designation through Minneapolis Public Housing Authority, the MPHA. Congress authorized the HUD Secretary to extend the Moving to Work status to 1 or more adjacent public housing agencies in the same area. The MPHA is already a Moving to Work agency. The Council and the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority submitted a formal request to HUD in August of 2018 to have MPHA's Moving to Work status extended to the Council's HRA. HUD approved the 2 agencies to move forward in concept and is ready to continue dialogue toward forming a regional Moving to Work program between the 2 agencies. The other is the Moving to Work designation through expansion cohort and rent reform. Congress authorized a Moving to Work expansion to 100 different agencies. The expansions are offered in 4 separate cohorts, each offered separately and testing 1 specific policy change. With Council approval, the Metro HRA submitted a letter of interest in June 2019 and has been invited to submit a full application due January 8th, 2020 to test a rent reform initiative. Mr. Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council adopt Resolution 2020-32 and Resolution 2020-33, which are attached to the agenda, as required by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, authorizing the Director, Metropolitan Council Housing and Redevelopment Authority, to submit a full application for the Moving to Work program expansion, rent reform, and continue conversations with HUD toward reforming a regional Moving to Work voucher program through the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
Moved by Lee.
Thank you, Councilmember Lee. I agree with Councilmember Lilligren. This is a really exciting program and take a lot of work. We've talked about it in the past. This moving back to work, it is ground setting, and the fact that we're collaborating with Minneapolis is also a really a good thing. Any other discussion, question?
Mr. Chair, I would just note, as Ms. Smith informed us, and to really commend Terry Smith for her work on this, that we're the first large regional housing authority to be moving into this territory. So just really commend staff for keeping us innovative in the country, an innovative region across the country.
Love hearing that.
Mr. Chair.
Councilmember Johnson. Yep.
And I just want to echo a point, and I really forgive me for not recalling who said this in our community development committee, but it stuck with me. You know, the name of the program is the Moving Back to Work program, but so many of these people are working 1, 2, or 3 jobs. So I know it's a name, there are certain connotations with that, but to just recognize how hard people are really working, and those who don't have jobs outside the home, you know, their value and impact to our community is also so important. So I just wanted to acknowledge that because I thought it was such a great point. And again, forgive me for not recalling who said it, but thank you.
Thanks for sharing that, Judy.
Chair Zelle, this is Councilmember Chambliss. I was the person that said that, and I know there were other council members in our committee that also agreed that while that the moving to work name has certain connotations for people who are participating and working really hard, the benefits of this program are going to be great for our residents, and I'm really glad to see that it's offering greater flexibility and more involvement and authority with the Metropolitan Council.
Right. Well, and I'm hoping we're going to hear how this develops as we go forward. Any other comments? All right. Hearing none. Liz?
Barber?
Aye.
Chambliss?
Aye.
Ferguson?
Aye.
Aye.
Ferguson? Thank you. Fredson?
Aye.
Gonzalez?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Lilligren?
Aye.
Lindstrom?
Aye.
Mousse?
Aye.
Sterner?
Aye.
Bento?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Chair Zelle?
Aye. That motion carried. Thank you. One more, Council Member Zoller.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair and council members. This is more of a housekeeping matter. It's business item 2020-346. It's essentially a correction to a previous action on payment standards that we took for the Metro HRA. The Metropolitan Council must annually review and adopt payment standards for use in the administration of our Housing Choice Voucher Program. And we did adopt new payment standards at our December 9th meeting. Although the Council's Housing and Redevelopment Authority, or the Metro HRA Housing Choice Voucher Program service area, does not include Minneapolis or St. Paul, the Metro HRA operates 2 small rent assistance programs in these cities. And so these are 2 zip codes in these cities, 55115 and 55415, where the payment standard increase was not included in the original business item. Both zip code standards need revision because they fall below the required levels. And so, Mr. Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council adopt the revised payment standards as shown in Table 1 for the Housing Choice Voucher and other rent assistance programs effective January 1st, 2021.
Right.
Johnson seconds.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson. Any discussion? Hearing none. Liz?
Barber?
Aye.
Chambliss?
Aye.
Ferguson?
Aye.
Fredson?
Aye.
Gonzalez?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Lilligren?
Aye.
Lindstrom?
Aye.
Mousse?
Aye.
Sterner?
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. That motion carried. Thank you. And thank you, Councilmember Lilligren. On to the Environment Committee. Councilmember Lindstrom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have two construction-related projects at the Metro plant that we'll be voting on this afternoon. The first one is 335, and that deals with some concrete rehabilitation improvements, primary settling tank collector replacement, solids storage pad improvements, 2 closed loop cooling systems, and several miscellaneous items that were outlined in the business item. We had a public pre-bid meeting on September 30th. We have 56 plan holders for this project. We did get 2 bids at the beginning of November. Shank Constructors was determined to be the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. The Office of Equal Opportunity established an NCUB goal of 8% for this project, and the contractor, Shank Constructors, commits to 9.05 utilization at the time of the bid. So therefore, Mr. Chair and members of the council, I move that the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to award and execute a construction contract for the Metropolitan Wastewater Treatment Plant Rehabilitation and Facility Improvements Project. This is project numbers 805990 and 808921, contract number 20P220 with Shank Constructors Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $13,119,800.
Okay. There a second to that motion?
Chair Zelli, Sterner, second, please.
Thank you. Any questions, discussions? Big contract? All right, hearing none. Liz, call the roll.
Barber,
Aye.
Chambliss,
Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Fredson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Musse,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. That motion carried. Back to you, Councilmember.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. That last one was a big one, and this one's even bigger, $32 million. And also at the Metro plant. This one deals with aeration and replacement for the aeration tank diffuser and aeration control upgrades, something called under drain and meter pit rehabilitation. Very important part of the process. A final settling tank, backfill gate installation, and air header leak repair assembly. We got bids, or at least we sent out an invitation for bids back in October 1st. We have a public hearing. We had a public bid opening on November 3rd. We only received one bid for this project. It was below the engineer's estimated outline in the business item. And the project is financed by a loan from the Minnesota Public Facilities Authority and has a disadvantaged business participation goal of 2%. This one will be going to Shank Constructors as well. They meet the Office of Equal Opportunity goals for this contract, and their bid is responsive and responsible. And therefore, Mr. Chair and members of the council, I move that the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to award and execute construction contract 20P228 for project 808930. That is the Metropolitan Wastewater Treatment Secondary Improvements with Shank Constructors Incorporated in the amount, again, $32,388,600.
Okay. There's a second.
Turner, second.
Thank you, Councilmember Sterner. Any questions, discussion? All right, hearing none. Liz?
Barber,
Aye.
Chambliss,
Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Fredson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Musse,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Vento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. Thank you. That motion carried. No reports from the Management Committee. And next up is the Transportation Committee. Councilmember Barber.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Business item 2020-288 is an amendment to the travel behavior inventory contracts. The TBI household survey is a biennial survey of all travel for a sample of households in the region. Each household is asked to record all travel by all household members for up to 7 days. Data collection for the first wave of the survey occurred in 2018 and 2019. The amendments are necessary to correct contract expiration dates and establish specific payment milestones for waves 2 and 3, include additional tasks for strategies to increase representativeness of the sample surveys by race and ethnicity, increase sample size of wave 2 to fully measure ongoing changes and increase sample statistical power, especially for historically underrepresented groups, and for adjustments and risk mitigations due to COVID-19 impacts and other external factors affecting response rates. Before I move the item, I would like to note that we anticipate a clarifying amendment to this motion. With that,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council authorizes the regional administrator to enter into negotiations and to execute an amendment to the subordinate funding agreement with the Minnesota Department of Transportation funding the travel behavior inventory household survey for an amount not to exceed $3,778,400 and adopt the attached resolution 2020-31, approving the agreement with MnDOT and to enter into negotiations and to execute an amendment with the contract with RSG to conduct the TBI household surveys for an amount not to exceed $4,723,000.
Okay. Is there a second to this motion as presented?
Second by Lee.
Thank you, Councilmember Lee. Before there's discussion, I understand there might be a motion for an amendment. Councilmember Chambliss, I think you might be muted, so okay.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that the proposed motion be amended to be read as followed. The Transportation Committee approved the requested action that included amending subordinate agreement I6I073A on 12/14. After that point in discussion with MnDOT, it became clear that it would be necessary to separate wave 2 of the survey and wave 3 into separate subordinate funding agreements. as the original agreement can't be extended in time. I want to also note that this amendment doesn't have any effect on the cost or scope. Additionally, for clarity, the amendment adds the council contract numbers for existing agreements.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Chambliss. Is there a second to the amendment proposed by Councilmember Chambliss?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilmember Barber.
I believe that Councilmember Chambliss has to read the amendment because we don't have it all in front of us and it wasn't posted.
Yes, let me read.
So
go ahead and read
Go
that.
ahead. Go ahead, sure.
That the Metropolitan Council authorizes the regional administrator to enter into negotiations and to execute an amendment to the subordinate funding agreement with the Minnesota Department of Transportation, MnDOT, funding the travel behavior inventory household travel survey for Wave 2, and to execute a new subordinate funding agreement for Wave 3 with the total amount, including the amendment, not to exceed $3,778,400, and to adopt the attached resolution 2020-31 approving the agreements with MnDOT, and to enter into negotiations and to execute an amendment with the contract RSG 17P 073 to conduct the TBI household surveys for an amount including the amendment not to exceed $4,723,000. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Chambliss. Now, is there a second to the proposed amendment to the motion?
Johnson seconds.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson. Any questions or discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson. And just a point of clarification, so nothing would change in the resolution that's part of the motion, correct? None of that language would need to change because it's a reference. There are just references in the resolution. But I mean, that's what it appears to me. I just wondered. That's all.
That's my understanding on this. I stand to be corrected.
I think so too. I just was curious, that's all. Because I was trying to listen to the amended language, and as I was looking at the resolution, I didn't see anything in there that would need to be altered. So
Yes, I believe it's just for clarification.
Any other questions about the amendment or clarification? All right, let's have Liz take the roll and to make sure we know what we're voting on. This is on the proposed amendment to the motion. Liz?
Barber?
You're on mute.
Aye.
Chambliss?
Aye.
Ferguson?
Aye.
Fredson?
Aye.
Gonzalez?
Aye.
Johnson?
aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Lilligren?
Aye.
Lindstrom?
Aye.
Musset?
Aye.
Sterner?
Aye.
Mento?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Chair Zelli?
Aye. So now we have before us the motion from Councilmember Barber as amended. Any discussion, questions? If not, Liz, you can call the roll on the motion as amended.
Barber? Barber? Chambliss? Chambliss?
Aye.
Ferguson?
Aye.
Fredson?
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Musset,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. So the motion, as amended, carried. Thanks, everyone. Now on to the joint report of Environment and Community Development Committees. We're back to you, Council Member Lilligren.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. The following 5 business items are comprehensive plans for communities that are connected to the regional wastewater system. There are 2 same-week items on the list that were forwarded with Chair Lindstrom's permission from the Environment Committee since the committee meeting was canceled. Both items were intended to be on consent for the Environment Committee. For all communities, Council staff found that the 2040 plans conform to regional systems plans, are consistent with Council policies, and are compatible with the plans of adjacent and affected jurisdictions. The first is business item 2020-308 to authorize the 2040 comprehensive plan for Circle Pines and to approve their comprehensive sewer plan. Mr. Chair, I move that the Met Council adopt the attached advisory comments and review record and take the following actions. Recommendations from the Community Development Committee are to authorize the City of Circle Pines to place its 2040 comprehensive plan into effect and to revise the city's forecasts as shown in Table 1 and to revise the affordable housing need allocation for the city to 12 units. Also, to strongly encourage the city to address all widely known tools in order to be fully consistent with the council housing policy. The city should consider addressing the following tool in the plan before final adoption. Identify the preservation of projects that use low-income housing tax credit, and also advise the city to implement the advisory comments in the review record for housing and water supply. From the Environment Committee to approve the City of Circle Pines comprehensive sewer plan and also require the city to submit a copy to the council of the revised ordinance requiring the disconnection of non-compliant connection of sub pumps, foundation drains, and roof leaders from the sanitary sewer system.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second that one, Mr. Chair. Lindstrom.
Thank you, Councilmember Lindstrom. Any discussion? All right, Liz?
Barber,
Aye.
Chambliss,
Aye. Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Fredson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Musset,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. That motion carried. Councilmember Lilligren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item is business item 2020-320. It's to authorize the 2040 comprehensive plan for the city of Moundsview, and to approve their comprehensive sewer plan. Mr. Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council adopt the attached advisory comments and review record and take the following actions. The recommendations from the Community Development Committee authorize the city of Moundsview to place its 2040 comprehensive plan into effect, to revise the city's forecast for households and population upward, as shown in Table 1 of the attached review record. Also revise the affordable housing need allocation for the city to 59 units, and to advise the city first to include the final local water management plan in the final plan that the city adopts, as well as submit the dates that the watershed approved the local water management plan and the date the city adopted the local water management plan. Also to implement the advisory comments in the review record for forecast and water supply. The recommendation from the Environment Committee, approve the City of Mountains View's comprehensive sewer plan and implement the advisory comments in the review record for wastewater.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that one as well, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Lindstrom. Any discussion? All right, Liz?
Barber,
Aye.
Chambliss,
Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Fredson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Musset,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. The motion carried. Councilmember Lilligren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item is item 2020-321. It's to authorize the 2040 comprehensive plan for the city of Minnetonka and to approve their comprehensive sewer plan. Mr. Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council adopt the attached advisory comments and review record and take the following actions. The recommendation from Community Development Committee, authorize the city of Minnetonka to place its 2040 comprehensive plan into effect, and also to advise the city to implement the advisory comments in the review record for forecasts and water supply. The recommendation from the Environment Committee is to approve the City of Minnetonka Comprehensive Sewer Plan.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Seconded by Ferguson.
Thank you, Councilmember Ferguson. Any discussion? All right, Liz, call the roll.
Barber,
Aye.
Chambliss,
Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Fredson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Musset,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. That motion carried. Back to you, Councilmember Lilligren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My apologies. My WebEx is being a little clumsy and unresponsive. We're getting there. Mr. Chair, the next item is business item 2020-340 to authorize the 2040 comprehensive plan for the city of Fridley and approve their comprehensive sewer plan. Mr. Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council adopt the attached advisory comments and review record and take the following actions. The recommendations from Community Development Committee is to authorize the city of Fridley to place its 2040 comprehensive plan into effect. Also advise the city to incorporate the local water management plan into the formal plan as either a freestanding chapter or appendix when the city submits the final plan to the council. The city also needs to send the council the date the city adopts the final local water management plan. Also to adopt the Mississippi River Corridor Critical Area Plan within 60 days after receiving final DNR approval, and submit a copy of the final adopted plan and evidence of adoption to the Department of Natural Resources, the Council, and National Park Service within 10 days after adoption, and to implement the advisory comments in the review record for forecasts, land use, and water supply. The recommendation from the Environment Committee is to approve the City of Fridley's comprehensive sewer plan.
Right, is there a second to that motion?
Councilmember Chambliss seconds.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any discussion? All right, Liz, call the roll.
Barber,
Aye.
Chambliss,
Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Fredson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Musse,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. That motion carried. Okay, one more time. Councilmember Lilligren.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And just before I introduce this final item, I just want to thank my colleagues on the Community Development Committee for their work and commitment this year. Last night, for example, we had a robust 3-hour meeting, and I just really appreciate the commitment and the commitment of staff in the Community Development and Parks area. It's just been a really rewarding year, so my thanks. So the final business item is 2020-341 to authorize the 2040 comprehensive plan for the city of White Bear Lake and approve their comprehensive sewer plan. Mr. Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council adopt the attached advisory comments and review record and take the following actions. The recommendations from the Community Development Committee: authorize the city of White Bear Lake to place its 2040 comprehensive plan into effect, to revise the city's sewer service forecasts upward as shown in Table 2, advise the city that A, the MPCA reissued MS4 general permit to the city on November 16, 2020. The city's stormwater pollution prevention program and the surface water management plan need to be reviewed to determine if any changes are needed to meet the conditions of the reissued permit, that the city adopt engineering design standards for stormwater management or a summary of them need to be included in the surface water management plan. That was B. C, the city needs to add the projects listed in the 5-year capital improvement program, that's 2019 to 2023, under the heading Surface Water Fund, as well as the highest priority implementation actions for the subsequent 5 years to the Surface Water Management Plan to form the CIP required by Minnesota rules, and D, to recommend the actions as fully described within this report for the Surface Water Management Plan. They must be complete prior to final 2040 plan submittal to the council. And finally, advise the city to implement the advisory comments in the review record for forecasts, land use, and water supply. And the recommendation of the Environment Committee to approve the City of White Bear Lake's comprehensive sewer plan, and advise the city that the plan states that the city is considering a project that would enable the phase out of its existing lift station, number 13, that would result in a redirection of flow to a different location of the regional wastewater system. Prior to project implementation, the city will need to submit to the council for further review and evaluation additional information and data related to the project. And once the city amends and adopts ordinances 402 to require the disconnection of existing clear water connections to the sanitary sewer system, the city shall submit a copy of the ordinance and adopting resolution to the council for the council's records.
All right. Is there a second?
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is Councilmember Bento. I second, and if I could, I'd like to make an additional comment.
Sure, please.
I want to note that White Bear Lake Mayor Joe Emerson and Community Development Director Ann Kane are with us tonight. I want to thank them for their great work and wonderful leadership.
Thank you for those comments. And I was wondering if that was the Joe Emerson whose name appeared. So thrilled that she could sit in and see this business meeting. Any discussion? Any more comments? Hearing none. Liz, you can take the roll.
Barber,
Aye.
Chambliss,
Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Fredson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Musse,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Chair Zelli.
Aye. Well, that motion carried. We've done quite a lot of business tonight, and I really want to echo what a number of you have already said, to thank our staff and frankly thank each other. And it's thrilled actually Mayor Joe Emerson could be there, because I think a city like White Bear really kind of and Fridley and others, show how much work there goes into these planning processes. And we had a flurry of work of plans to be approved by year end, and I know that those don't just happen, even though we go by them and approve them formally pretty quickly. I can't believe 2020 is done. This is our final meeting. Here we are virtually. I can't say enough how proud and how appreciative I am for everybody's work this past year. I can't even remember the last time we saw each other in person, but I feel like I've been here almost a year as your chair. Not quite, pretty soon. And we only had a few meetings, and now we're kind of like most of the time in front of screens. But given the challenges we've had, not just as a region and as a state, as a country, as a world, but what we at Met Council, we're dealing with so many of the issues that we have to face. And I know it took extra efforts from all of you. And I actually had a meeting with the governor's cabinet last night, and it was interesting, to think about, even though these are really tough issues that we're all facing, but with his leadership and frankly all of yours, there are issues that are worth fighting for. So what an honest privilege it is that we get to work together on those issues, and we're not done. We're halfway through our first term, and I really look forward to next year. I think there's an opportunity for not only kind of becoming more in person as we recover, but thinking about the world differently in a lot of areas that we care about, whether it's climate, equity, inclusive development, parks, housing, affordability, how we can keep this region competitive is really, it's kind of what we're all about. So honestly, I can't think of a better team to be with than all of you. We are a diverse group, but we are a thoughtful group. And the fact that we come aligned and work together on important issues. I know a lot of work happens at the committee level, at task forces, if you go to the Metropolitan Council website, there are more advisory committees and meetings, but you know what? That's what it takes. This is a human process we're all in. So I'm really proud and thankful for all of your hard work. And it's really been my honor to be there with you. So it's kind of breezy outside, and we're all cozy inside. I don't see many of you, which I was enjoying watching outside during the summer. Most of you were on porches, and not today. It's time to sit in front of the fire, so I won't take up any more of your time. I hope you have a restful break, because January is going to be here before you know it, and we got a big agenda coming. So thank you all. I don't know if anybody have any comments, reports, thoughts? Councilmember Chambliss.
I just want to thank you, Chair Zell, for hitting the ground running and engaging us all. It's been a very productive year. I've enjoyed working with everyone on the committees and the council members and the staff. I'm wishing everyone, a happy holiday and a happy new year. Everybody be well, be safe, check on your friends.
Thank you for that. Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Chair Zelli. On Monday night, I was invited by the East Side St. Paul legislators to join their town hall, and we had a good chance to talk to constituents and also thank outgoing Representative Tim Mahoney for his 22 years of service, and I also look forward to my new relationship with Representative-elect John Thompson, and that was a nice event, and we forget that. It's easy for us to forget that we have a lot of great friends and partners in the legislature that help support us and make our work possible too. So thanks to them, and also thanks to the amazing staff in the Met Council that work hard and make all the rest of us look good.
So true. Anybody else? Thoughts? Mary, are you there? Deputy Regional or Acting Regional Administrator?
Mr. Chair, I am here. It looks like my video is having a little difficulty, but nothing more to add other than happy holidays, and I agree, stay safe.
General Counsel, Ann, any thoughts? Any words?
Yes, thank
Any
you,
reports?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have a report per se. I think the General Counsel has a really unique view of the challenges that the council faces, particularly over the past year. And 2020 has just been a year of resilience for council staff, and the things that they have overcome and continue to provide such great service to the region. I'm just honored to be the general counsel and to help navigate through those waters. So let's hope 2021 will be much quieter. And thank you to all of you for all of your support on behalf of the staff. I know they appreciate it, and better days ahead.
Absolutely. Well, and normally I think we could have at least a Christmas cookie or something, but we're not in person. So let's just take a rain check. And I promise you, springtime, sometime, we will organize a little get together. You can hold me to that commitment. I will find a place, and we can all kind of gather when as soon as we can. And I think we'll have that in our back of our minds to look forward to. We won't wait till next holiday season. So, but in the meantime, if you're home with friends and families and loved ones, I hope your pod stays healthy, and whatever holiday spirit and traditions you follow, I hope they're as joyful as you can be in the next week or so. And I really look forward to next year being there with you. So farewell, stay healthy, and the meeting's adjourned.